The Poet and the Stonemason. Part 4. Age of Concrete. Robert Pearson moved to San Rafael soon after he completed the Santa Rosa Depot. At the time, San Rafael was a ferry ride from San Francisco. Pearson had resided in San Rafael before when he worked at San Anselmo, but this time he would remain there for 13 years. The move was likely a sign that he was enjoying some prosperity after completing the library and depot in Santa Rosa, and it appears that he became an independent contractor when he moved to Marin County. Marin County newspapers of the time show him buying and selling lots and also investing in local businesses. While at San Rafael, Pearson would be listed as a contractor, a stonemason, a mason, and a cement contractor. He would do a lot of concrete work in his San Rafael years. Precisely when he began to do concrete work is uncertain. A 1905 record has him listed as a contractor, perhaps an indication that he had diversified his workload as an independent businessman. Reinforced concrete was essentially born in San Francisco, and several impressive concrete structures were completed in and around San Francisco during Robert Pearson's San Francisco years. The Alvord Lake Bridge in Golden Gate Park, the floor of the California Academy of Sciences building, and the suspended second floor of the Born and Wise wine cellar in St. Helena, and then buildings made entirely of reinforced concrete at Stanford University, namely the Leland Stanford Jr. Museum and Robley Hall. When the great quake and fire of 1906 struck, masonry collapsed, but concrete held, not merely by reason of strength, but also because of heat resistance. Though great advances in reinforced concrete construction had been made in San Francisco from 1883 to 1897, the revolution moved elsewhere, largely because of resistance from local industry and labor. As a skilled mason, Robert Pearson did not likely have a great interest in concrete before 1906, so he probably didn't move to Marin to become a cement contractor. We don't see cement or concrete associated with his name until 1910. He worked mostly with concrete in the second decade of the century, though he continued to work with brick and stone. Over this period, he built a variety of concrete structures, including 2 bridges, a bandstand, and a dam. This surely broadened his experience with reinforced concrete and Portland cement. Robert Pearson moved to Carmel-by-the-Sea in 1918, probably intending to ease into retirement there. Carmel, a sort of Hobbiton before the first Hobbit, was a center of craft home construction. At age 55, Robert Pearson could supplement his savings with a hand-picked job here and there, and so in 1919 he came to build Tor House on the poet's Carmel Point property. It is unlikely that Robert Pearson was the kind of man that the poet Robinson Jeffers would have admired or sought to emulate. Jeffers, the solemn son of an old Presbyterian scholar and something of a self-styled hermit, was not much of a carouser, and Pearson, a jovial community man, a sportsman, a civic leader, and an unassuming craftsman with sloppy penmanship, had little to offer the poet in terms of a literary reputation. Still, it could not have escaped the poet that Pearson was no dullard. One must imagine that this master of stone was serious about stonework, and that he had a thing or two to say about it. Perhaps he gave Jeffers some food for thought. Perhaps he inspired the poet in some earthbound way. Regardless of whether or in what way Jeffers the apprentice was impressed by his teacher, the fact remains that he apprenticed under one of California's best, certainly an honor that does not diminish his work. Robinson Jeffers continued to work with stone until 1948, when he nearly died of pleurisy. He had to leave his second tour house unfinished, but his son Donnan completed the job. Their work, together with the work of Robert Pearson, can still be seen in the stonework of Tor House and Hawk Tower. In this sense, the poet and his son were the end of a long line of wallers and masons with roots that reached deep into the past of northern England. Tor House serves as a monument to that line, and a monument to the end of an age. Robert Pearson spent the last 17 years of his life in Carmel. He built his house in the heart of town, and he served as president and director of Carmel's pioneering social organization, the Manzanita Club. He was not one to spread his name around, but he was not invisible. He died a fitting death at age 72 from pneumonitis, a lung disease that has taken the life of many a stoneworker. His body was interred at his birthplace in Canada, where his name remains etched in stone, accompanied by family to this day.